Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, Season 1, Iron Snow, the stories of Green Goblin as a hero. All right, so we are starting in Episode 4, and we start with Green Goblin having just defeated Enchantress and Saber-Tooth Tiger. And finally, Jubilee catches up with Green Goblin. He's been kind of ducking her calls, but she's been wanting to meet with him. She kind of corners him at the New York City Natural Science Museum and says, hey, listen, I see that you just defeated Enchantress and Sabretooth, but a couple weeks ago, you helped a woman in a back alley. She was kind of cornered by two men, and you took care of the problem and helped her. But she talked about it to a few of her friends. They talked about it to a few of their friends, and word is out on the Green Goblin. So you've had two superhero successes, and now already you've been swept up by Spider-Man, right? And so you're in Spider-Man's orbit. Now the reality is, and so this is Jubilee from X-Men, and she's talking to Green Goblin. She says, listen, the Beast is a favored X-Men, and he was recently killed. And he was killed because Cyclops is no longer a good leader for the X-Men. Cyclops is the leader for the X-Men that Professor Xavier chose. And he is still leading as though the mutants of this world are a marginalized group. And we're not. We're a privileged group. We have a lot of power. We're accepted. Things have changed, right? But Beast got killed by Crossbones because she did not say Scott because that's his secret identity. Because Cyclops is not leading us well, right? Now, I traced it back, and I know, and Crossbones did kill Beast, but he didn't just do it on his own. Beast was killed by Crossbones on command of Dr. Doom. So listen, the original X-Men were 5 members, okay? I am building a 5-member team right now, and we are going to reach out, and we are going to defeat Dr. Doom. And when we have defeated Dr. Doom, we're going to head back to the X-Men team and say, hey, we defeated Dr. Doom, the assassin, the actual real assassin of Beast. And because of that, Cyclops needs to give up ownership of X-Men to me. So I am going for leadership of the X-Men, and this is going to be difficult. And I need a team of 5 people. Now, Green Goblin, one of the first things I want to do with the X-Men is I want to stop the X-Men from representing mutants only. We need to be able to draw the best talent, because right now Avengers is drawing the best talent, right? Because they're not caught up in this mutant, non-mutant thing, right? So we want to start recruiting non-mutants into the X-Men. Green Goblin, I'm asking you to become the first X-Man who is not a mutant. And the reality is I'm trying right now to take leadership of the X-Men away from Cyclops and give it to somebody who is a modern, capable leader, right? I really need your help. Please help me, help the X-Men, help yourself. Become the first X-Man to not be a mutant, right? This is going to be good for everybody, all right? Question goes to Green Goblin. Green Goblin's like, I'm brand new. Spider-Man offered to help me with these powers that I have, which I don't really understand, and I don't have complete control of. So that's why I'm connected to Spider-Man, but he's just helping me. I'm not an Avenger. I'm not grouped up. And frankly, I don't want to be grouped up. However, right, I don't want to send you away empty-handed. Why don't you give me all the information you have on Professor Xavier, who's been gone for 3 years, and I'll go find Professor Xavier. And then when I find Professor Xavier, I will present that location to you, and you can present it to the X-Men. Right? So I'm not going to join the X-Men, but I will help you find Charles Xavier. Right? So Jubilee is like, okay. So Jubilee, she talks longer than this, but I'm going to shorten it. She's like, oh my gosh, it sucks that you're saying no. Oh my gosh, that is the best plan. It would be a lot. I would actually have a much better chance of becoming the leader of the X-Men if I found Charles Xavier, which Cyclops has not been able to do. That's the path forward. I just need to find Charles Xavier and then present that location to the X-Men, and that's a great idea. So I think that's a brilliant idea, and I'm going to change my plan and find Charles Xavier rather than defeating Dr. Doom. However, I want you to understand this, Green Goblin. You have said, no, you will not be the first X-Men, right? Now, I came to you. I really needed your help. You and I are not walking away as rivals or as enemies, but I want you to know this. You will never be an X-Men in any capacity. That is going to be the cost of you saying no to me today. Because generally, strong leaders should not be said no to too often, especially not by newcomers like you. So, and then that was it. That was the complete conversation between Green Goblin and Jubilee. Green Goblin said no, denied the help she asked for to Jubilee. And I want to talk about this, right? So one, I love the Gold Player. He's brilliant. And I had not thought about that, like that it would have been a much better plan for Jubilee to go find Charles Xavier than to defeat Dr. Doom. It would have been probably would be a lot less dangerous, probably would be a lot more effective. But I've been thinking a lot, right? And the reality is when somebody comes to you for help, first of all, in today's world, people not everybody's coming with their hand out. A lot of people, like, if they're asking you, it is their last resort, because this is America and people really want to be independent, right? And so if somebody's coming to your with a handout, they are asking you they're saying, hey, give me the help I need in the way I'm asking. And I'm very sensitive to this now, that like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't care what you want. Let me help you in the way I think you should be helped. Right? And I'm telling you, that's not a lot of help. And I think a lot of that world's help is shaped like this. In fact, it's one of the reasons why the government is doing such a terrible job. Is like people are like, hey, I need this. And they're like, hey, I need X. And they're like, well, what if I gave you Y? And you're like, you know what? Why don't you just seal your flapping maw? It would have been better for you to say no than, hey, I'm going to help you, but in the way I want to help you. I really feel it's important. It's important, right? If somebody asks you for help, say no or say yes. I really feel a lot of people think they're like doing something good by saying, hey, let me help you in the way I want to help you, right? And I will admit that it actually did help Jubilee, right? Like it gave her a better plan, right? But she didn't walk away with it like that. She was like, hey, I came to you for this and you said no to me, And I just, this is kind of in my craw right now. I really feel like, and I've been in this situation where I need somebody to help me, and I'm like, get your shovel and meet me at the park at midnight, like that's the kind of, and they're like, hey, I'll drop by an hour and a half later and bring water. And you're like, no, man, I don't need the help you want to give me. I need the help I'm asking for, right? And so I thought there was now, and of course in the game, it's just simply tension, right? It's tension between these two characters. But it really made me think a lot about this idea of, is it helpful to offer somebody a different kind of help and say no to the help they're actually asking for? I think a lot of people in America think they think that's helpful, they think that is good, but the reality is you just really need to realize, hey, either say no or say yes, right? And I'm not sure that this extra kind of help is really helpful in IRL. Now, I am talking IRL, right? And the reason why I'm talking IRL is I feel like the narrative of the story made me think about how this fits in IRL. So just some extra thoughts there at the end. Thank you for your patience. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game by Matt Forbeck, Iron Snow Campaign Season 1. The important part is when I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.